Hello everyone, and welcome to this essay. It is my very first one, but I figured this topic requires a clear and precise discussion instead of the rambling that I usually do within my Toni Talks videos. So I figured I'd sit down and write my very first script and try to express this properly. And yeah, here we are. For all the people with at least one functioning eyeball out there, yeah, this video is going to remain black for the entire duration of my discussion. I am blind overall and I don't know any helpful images that I could show you that would support my opinion, apart from cat pictures maybe. And in the end, it's all about the stuff that I say, right? If it helps, try reading the subtitles or something, I don't know. Here you go. You can now leave if you want to. Let us start now with my view on the topic, composing competitions. Composing competitions. A new trend in the music composing, orchestration, all of that YouTube community, and I think that they are great. They usually start with one of the larger music-centered YouTube channels announcing one of those competitions, which are meant to bring the community together, motivate and allow the composers to find a workflow that suits them best so that they can write music and get it out there as efficient and as well as possible. However, those contests typically come with some sorts of theme or restrictions, so that not everyone ends up with some totally different genre, style, tempo, instrumentation, and all that. Those limitations are meant to ensure comparability, so that the organizer can preview the entries and select the best ones to further promote them and give helpful feedback, so everyone can improve over time. That is necessary because usually there are so many entries for those competitions that there's simply not enough time to give proper feedback to all of them. From what I hear, those competitions are fun and useful. Personally, I learn a lot from the discussion videos YouTubers like Ryan Leach upload as a result of the competitions. By the way, the link to Ryan's channel is in the video description. I highly recommend you to check it out, especially if you're into composing music too, because he's just creating a lot of useful and helpful videos. He's talking from his own experience, yada yada yada. Go check him out. The problem I see isn't in the composing competitions, but in the inspiration, the theme, so to speak. So far, each competition I've seen has had a picture as source of inspiration, and I definitely get that. The biggest industry that requires you to compose music nowadays, apart from the listening to music business, is films or series. So it's just natural to train aspiring composers to do just that, score a picture. Blind composers, however, cannot see the picture. I cannot take part in such a competition because the entry requirement is to look at a picture and interpret it. And before you say, well, why can't you just ask someone to describe the picture to you? Joke's on you, I've already tried that. The problem is, I asked several people, and guess what? I got all kinds of different descriptions. And that is because of interpretation. One person interprets a picture different to another person. I remember in the good old days in school we were actually trained to describe a picture, especially because I was the only blind person in my class, and the teachers thought it would be a good motivation to have my classmates do exactly that. Yeah, of course you can describe simple things like, on the picture you can see a tree growing on the shore of a lake, the sun rising over it, a woman is bathing in the lake, and a dog is sleeping on the shore, under the tree, whatever. But as soon as you get into things that are not really visible, but are really important to the music, things like atmosphere, things start to get into the realm of interpretation. And why interpretation is probably one of the things that makes writing music so fun and enjoyable. It would be difficult if all you have to work with is someone else's view on the things, or even multiple people trying to convince you of their interpretation of some image. And in the end, it is someone else's interpretation, not mine. But the music is meant to be my music, my feelings, which obviously cannot work. When you're writing music for film, you're most likely not just interpreting the images shown on the screen. You're probably getting some contextual information along with it. But that still doesn't change the fact that I cannot interpret the scenery shown on screen. And while we're at it, composing music for picture is far from the only cool stuff composers can do. Creativity shouldn't focus just on one thing unless this thing is really what they want to do. But it never hurts to brighten your horizon. I recently posted about this on Twitter and got a response from Ryan, who asked if it would be okay to score to a poem or short story, for example. And that's a great idea. I could also think of scoring to a sound-only scene, maybe even some short movie or audio drama scene. As long as there's sound in it, even blind people will be able to make something of it. Audio drama in general is a great business to work in. Germany is the country of radio play, per se. We've got great ongoing series like Die 3 Fragezeichen, The 3 Question Marks. The series comes out every few months and has been running since 1979. We've got Audible originals, of course, but also a lot of local audio drama productions. I don't even have enough time to keep up with the newest releases anymore, although I'd really love to. Yeah, this is just Germany, of course, but although the industry might not be as big where you live, the English-speaking world is much larger than the German-speaking world. Audio dramas, radio plays, even video games don't require you to score just to picture. You could take a scene from a video game that has sound in it, so that we can think of something that would fit the mood. I even once had an idea to ask an author of a fanfiction that I really liked if I could score a theme song and interpret the first chapter as an audio drama kind style YouTube video. Writing a theme song to a fanfiction, I think that could be a really nice challenge for every musician who not only loves to write music but also enjoys reading those. Or you know what? Writing theme songs or entire soundtracks to books or series of books. Why not? Well, what do I want to say here? It's not like I feel discriminated or something. I want to make this clear. I really sympathize with all the great stuff that is going on right now and feel supported by the entire musical community over here on YouTube, at least within the small bubble that I live in. It's just one of those situations again where better accessibility can really lead to more creativity for all of us. Why stick to the same pattern over and over again if you can do so much more? Try something new. Not all composers out there will end up being film composers. Be creative. And not just to the organizers of such competitions, but to all you fellow composers and musicians out there. Try to mix it up. Try something different, something you haven't even done before, something you maybe even haven't thought of before. Just try to think out of the box. Composing to a poem was an idea I haven't even thought about before. And to be honest, I wouldn't even know where to start. But I'd love to sit down and let the ideas work their magic. After all we can and want to do is learn from it, right? Because learning is what makes us better at what we do. This probably came out much more cheesy than I meant it to be. Well, and that is all I wanted to say. Again, it is not meant to criticize the scoring competitions in the slightest. I think they're really necessary. But I'd love to see a bit of diversity in that development in the future. And now, let's bring this to an end. This entire video was scripted for once, and I really tried my best in reading it properly, although I'm still kinda struggling with it. But I hope to improve that in the future. I'm also not the best in writing essays, especially since they are not written in my native language. But I think I did a kinda good job. Let me know what you think about it, the essay, but the competitions too. Do you have any ideas what could be done as an alternative to scoring to picture all the time? Should I do something similar in the future too? And if yes, what do you think would be a theme or technique that I should consider? Thank you all for listening anyway. I hope it didn't weigh you out too much and you will come back for the next Toni Talks too.